For thousands of years, humanity's best and brightest mapmakers drew the world completely, hilariously, utterly wrong. How do you map the world before satellites or even compasses? You wing it. The very first maps weren't even on paper. They were mental sketches. Turn left at the weirdly shaped tree, walk straight past the cave with the angry bear, and if you reach the volcano, you've gone too far. The earliest surviving physical map is a Babylonian clay tablet from about 2,500 years ago. It basically looks like a pizza with a bite taken out of it. Babylon is dead center. The rest of the world is just a bitter ocean and a few vague mythical islands. Then the Greeks tried to bring math to the party. A guy named Ptolemy sat down in the 2nd century and said, "Okay, let's use science. Let's draw lines of latitude and longitude." Smart, right? The problem was, he didn't actually travel much. He just asked merchants how long their trips took. So, he made the Mediterranean Sea way too big. He stretched Asia halfway across the globe. And he completely left out the Americas, Australia, and the Pacific Ocean. But he wrote it all down with total confidence, so Europe believed him for over 1,000 years. During the Middle Ages, mapmakers basically gave up on geography and switched to theology. Enter the T and O map. It literally looks like a circle with a T inside it. East was shoved at the top, because that's where the sun rose and where the Garden of Eden was supposedly hiding. Jerusalem sat dead center. Actual countries were squished into the corners. Half the map was just blank space waiting to be filled with dragons. And let's talk about those dragons. For a long time, mapmakers filled empty oceans with terrifying doodles of sea serpents, giant squid, and creepy mermaids. Why? Because a blank map was boring and rich people wanted to buy something exciting to hang on their walls. These maps weren't for navigating. They were luxury flexes. They said, "Look how much of the terrifying world I understand." But why did they get the actual land masses so wrong for so long? Well, imagine peeling an orange and trying to flatten the skin perfectly onto a table. It's impossible. You have to stretch it, squish it, and cut it. That's what mapmakers do with our round Earth. Plus, early mapmakers relied entirely on sailors. And sailors exaggerated. A 3-week trip became a sprawling continent. A patch of thick fog became a sea monster. Maps were basically a giant game of historical telephone. This massive confusion resulted in Christopher Columbus thinking he could sail west to reach Asia. Because of all those bad ancient measurements, Columbus thought the Earth was much smaller than it actually is. If he had known how far India really was, he never would have left the dock. The map literally tricked him into discovering a new continent. Today, we have satellites that can measure the Earth down to the centimeter. We know exactly where everything is. But we still carry around maps on our phones that distort the size of Greenland to make it look as big as Africa. It turns out, a map isn't really a picture of the world. It's just a picture of our own ego and our stubborn refusal to admit we don't know everything.